Hi, I'm Wayne Allen Root for Personal Liberty, and I stand with Rudy Giuliani. Great job, Rudy. I just hope you have the guts to withstand the withering media attacks and stand your ground. Do not retreat. What you said was perfect. Rudy just said what tens of millions of Americans already were thinking, as if questioning out loud whether Obama really loves America is such a controversial thing to do. How utterly ridiculous. Let me count the ways that would indicate to anyone who isn't blind or a complete blithering idiot that Obama doesn't appear to love America, is different in his thinking than any other president, as Rudy said, and certainly gives the strong impression his true feelings are anti-American, anti-Christian, and anti-Israel. I think I'm being very reasonable here. He at least gives that impression. Before we get to exact quotes direct from Obama's mouth in the past few surreal days, let's start with the obvious. Is it a stretch to say someone, especially an American president, doesn't seem to love America when he shows love and support for communist Cuba and the Castro brothers, but shows nothing but disdain for Israel? Is it a stretch to say someone, especially an American president, doesn't seem to love America when he meets with gusto with the head of jihad-supporting, radical Muslim-supporting Qatar, but refuses to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu when he's in the United States for a speech in front of Congress? What about when he opens a White House terrorist summit with Muslim prayer, includes primarily Muslim participants, and warmly welcomes the head of Russia's spy agency, formerly known as the KGB, while excluding the head of America's FBI from the same terrorist conference? What about when he refuses to admit Muslims are terrorists, while his Homeland Security lackeys label those who believe in individual rights and smaller government as the biggest terrorist threats facing America? The media thinks it's a stretch for Giuliani to see and hear all that in a week and conclude the White House might be occupied by a radical extremist Marxist and Muslim sympathizer who doesn't appear to love America? Maybe that's because when I was Obama's classmate at Columbia, my classmates cheered and celebrated the assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan. And today, many of my classmates are in the national media, those same people. Those are the unbiased people judging Rudy Giuliani. Well, I stand with Rudy. I believe Rudy is a hero for having the courage to state publicly what so many tens of millions of Americans are thinking privately. I think Rudy hit the nail right on the head. In my national bestseller, The Murder of the Middle Class, I predicted Obama would throw aside all attempts at moderation and compromise in his last 2 years as president, since he never had to face voters ever again. I predicted the real Obama would emerge and that he would unleash a radical anti-American, anti-capitalism, anti-Christian, anti-Israel agenda. There's no doubt that's exactly what he's unleashed in the past few days. We have a president who actually said Muslim terrorists have, and he wrote this in a column in the LA Times, legitimate grievances. I wonder if Obama believes the Nazis had legitimate grievances too. After all, both groups share the same grievance and goal, to murder every Jew in the world. We have a president who described the attack by a radical Muslim who murdered 4 Jews in a kosher deli as random folks shot in a deli. We have a president who described 21 Coptic Christians beheaded on a beach in Libya by Muslim terrorists as just some Egyptian citizens murdered. As ISIL beheads and burns to death prisoners in slick promotional videos, Obama's spokesman proposes the solution is finding them jobs. Yes, at the direction of President Obama, she actually said this is about jobs for terrorists, jobs for jihadis. So I asked the crucial question, who's hiring? How about Obama? I hear there's a need for White House interns. Just keep them away from the gasoline and the matches. We have a president who won't use the word Muslim and the word terrorist in the same sentence, even at a White House terrorism summit. That summit opened with a Muslim prayer, primarily including nothing but Muslims, excluded the head of the FBI, and welcomed the head of the former KGB. Even the former head of the CIA, James Woolsey, was flabbergasted and worried by Obama's statements. We have a president who claims Muslims have been woven into our country's fabric from the first day, even though this is a complete lie. There were no Muslims present at the founding of America, but we did interact with them because America's first war as a new nation was against Muslims, the Barbary pirates. We have a president who not only won't tie Muslims to terrorism, but amazingly considers conservatives and anyone who believes in individual rights to be the biggest terrorist threat. It's not as if we don't have a terrorist threat from the radical Islam right now. It was just yesterday that we heard about a serious jihadist threat against the Mall of America with Somali immigrants in Minnesota at the center of this frightening episode. Yet we have a president desperate to bring more and more Muslim immigrants to our country, including Syrian refugees coming directly from the home of ISIS, leaving even our own intelligence community shocked and frightened. And in the midst of all this, Obama chooses to scold Christians at the annual White House prayer breakfast for actions taken hundreds of years ago during the Crusades. Obama doesn't just blame Christians, he obviously blames Jews too. He refuses to meet with the Prime Minister of Israel at the same time he meets enthusiastically with the jihadi-supporting, terrorist-supporting heads of Qatar. In light of these statements and actions of just the past few days, this is not a list of 6 years, it's a list of a week. What exactly is wrong or extreme about Rudy Giuliani's statement about President Obama? What conclusion would a normal person draw? Whose side is Obama on? Obama's thinking can only be described by any normal American as foreign. Personally, I think our president is moonlighting with a second job as the new chief lobbyist and PR man for the Muslim world. Well, at least Obama has finally found one job he's good at. I'm Wayne Alaroot for Personal Liberty. See you next week. God bless America.